Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. As we go to air tonight, State Parliament remains in the middle of a mammoth sitting debating Jeremy Rockliff's leadership. Labor's no confidence motion is expected to fail, but the Premier's still been forced to weather his first day in minority.
Old faces sitting in new places. Fresh off a move to the crossbench, Lara Alexander and John Tucker joined a parliamentary assault on the AFL deal.
I've always been brought up, who pays the fiddler calls the tune.
Do you support the push for the former Premier, Peter Gutwein, to become the chair?
The deal that was meant to bring the state together, yet tore the government apart, proving just as divisive today.
Premier, it's such a shocking deal for Tasmania, where people sleep in tents and die waiting for an ambulance.
We have been the first government ever since generations of fighting, or decades for fighting, to secure our AFL teams to speak. And the economics stack up.
Questions on every facet, from whether the federal funds were already headed our way.
Can you confirm that you only formally asked for a GST exemption after we raised it in question time on Tuesday the 9th of May?
We expect
you still haven't asked.
to be treated fairly.
To why the proposed rapid bus transit might not even go to Macquarie Point.
For a moment, I thought it was a joke. The plan shown to me has the buses diverting off the rail corridor at the hockey grounds.
The final section to the Cenotaph reportedly too narrow for bus use. A Labor motion to debate no confidence in the Premier would normally be blocked. This time,
the government will be supporting the suspension of standing orders to allow this debate to happen in full. We won't be putting a time limit on it.
But it's destined for failure. The 2 new independents pledging not to back the motion.
We've had the discussions with the Premier, where the Premier has promised to us, to John and myself, that transparency will be forthcoming.
MP set for a long and likely fruitless night.
And we're joined now by state political reporter Josh Duggan, who's at Parliament House. Josh, how late could this debate go tonight?
Kim, the MPs could be here close to midnight. Each of them is entitled to speak for up to 30 minutes, and we've just got on to the 11th speaker. There's obviously some chance that the 2 new independents might vote against the Premier, but it does seem that he has survived today's events. Given that everyone's telegraphed how they're voting, it has prompted some debate over what the value of today really is.
This government needs to be held to account. They haven't let us. They haven't let us hold them to account. Today is the day where we can.
I think it's important to have this debate. It should be limited, though. Having 10 hours plus allocated to a no confidence motion isn't the best use of Parliament's time.
Well, we'll be expecting similar fireworks tomorrow, Kim.
Looks like it. Thank you very much there, Josh Duggan. Well, concerns have been raised about the safety of Tasmania's trans community after a memorial